Julie Monty, along with my co-host, Sergeant Tracy Lee, and our special guest, Ms. Marlene Duell from the Gwinnett County Probate Court, and Mr. Alan McDaniel, the president of NAMI Gwinnett. On this episode, we will be discussing mental illness and how it relates to family violence. Sergeant Lee, can you tell us what you do with the Sheriff's Department?
Well, Julie, I've been with the Sheriff's Department now approximately 18 years. I work in the Civil Division, and I serve lots of probate orders and do evictions, and I'm also a member of the task force.
Great. Ms. Duell, can you explain to us what you do at the Probate Court?
I've been with the probate court about 15 years, and in addition to the administrative part of the court, I also do hearings on behalf of the court, and I'm assigned to do most all of the mental health hearings for Gwinnett.
I bet you keep pretty busy.
We are busy.
Alan, would you like to tell us about what NAMI is?
NAMI is the National Alliance on Mental Illness. That's the nation's largest grassroots organization devoted to improving the lives of the people with mental illness and their families.
Okay, and you're president?
I'm the president of NAMI Gwinnett, and I'm on the board of directors of NAMI Georgia.
Wow. It sounds like you have a pretty busy job also.
Yes, keeps me busy.
Before we get started with the topic on this episode, we're going to ask Tracy about any updates we've had since our last episode.
Well, since our last episode, we've collected a few articles. This one's my favorite. It's I call it the Threes Company story. This was a story about a husband, his wife, and a boyfriend that all lived in the same apartment together.
But there's a twist.
But there's a twist. Well, and the man just happened to be named Tracy Lee, which I found kind of right. No relation. Not
Yeah.
Not my son. Anyway, the man was in bed with his wife, and apparently the boyfriend became jealous and attacked Tracy Lee with a flower vase.
Sorry.
So that led to Tracy Lee picking up a knife and stabbing him, which one went to the hospital, one went to jail, and then the wife ended up kicking both of them out of the house. Or the
Wow.
apartment, so.
She had her cake. She was able to eat it
So-
too.
There's a reason for the Two's Company.
And I
Three's
don't
a crowd
remember
problem.
this happening in the Three's Company episode ever.
I don't think so.
But the next one was rather disturbing. This is the case of the two girls that were accused of stabbing their mother or killing their mother.
Yeah, they were both adopted, both 17. They just recently, very recently, were convicted.
Yes, they
Of
were
murder.
apparently a life sentence. And, you know, what a waste of lives, that's all I can say. I mean, the mother's gone, and now two girls are in prison for life.
They tried to say that family violence was involved in that as well, and apparently that they were using the battered person's defense, but apparently that didn't.
Well, and I don't know the
work too well.
details of the case. I didn't keep up with it, but I got to commend the jury for doing their job here in Gwinnett, and I'm sure it was a tough case. The next story was the tussle story. Apparently, a lady took out a restraining order against an ex-boyfriend in Snellville, and at some point the ex-boyfriend violated the protective order and was hiding in the bushes at her home. And when he was confronted by some guests at the house, a fight broke out, and the next thing you know, three of the ladies' friends, I don't know what.
I think they were family members.
Family members
They
restrained
restrained
this person that was under the protective order, and he ended up dying. I think they said he suffocated, and
Certainly an unintended consequence of the
Well,
Exactly.
of the order.
he shouldn't have been there in the first
he
place.
shouldn't have
so-
been there.
Absolutely.
But that's just
Yeah.
it's an unusual case, and we had another homicide in Gwinnett recently. And this is the story of the lady who shot her husband in the head.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that's
And they've got a history, a long history
a long
of violence,
history.
protective
These
orders.
two fought like cats and dogs, and you know, lots of restraining orders between the two. Anyway, apparently she shot him in the head, and he had reported to the police that he was in fear of her. And I don't know what went wrong with the safety planning.
Well,
But-
apparently they didn't follow it.
I guess divorce was not an option in this case. I mean, it certainly would have been a lot easier just to get a divorce and move on with your life.
At least put some space between them.
Right.
Another way
But,
to go.
Well,
You know-
we also had a speak out in the month of October
I had to speak out, and I did bring a picture
at
for you all
the
to see.
courthouse. We also had our Hero Awards were presented earlier in October as well, and we've got a few pictures of Judge Robert Mitchum, who received a Hero Award, as well as my co-chair on the task force, Mike Leonard. So you can take a look at some pictures there. And when we come back, we're going to listen to a very dramatic 911 call from a gentleman who was shot. So stay tuned, we'll be right back.